So you think you're in the real estate business. You're not, at least not exactly. Of course, if you're an agent, a team leader, or broker owner, and you're watching this, you're in the business of selling houses, listing and helping buyers, or helping agents grow their businesses, or building support or coaching for agents as a team leader or broker owner. So yes, that is the selling portion of being a real estate agent. But what you really are is an entrepreneur. And where a lot of agents miss the opportunity to really go from being a salesperson, which is a very important skill. Of course, nothing happens until somebody sells something. And so it's a very, very important skill. You really are moving from being a salesperson to being a builder and then a leader. And what you really are is an entrepreneur. And as entrepreneurs, our number one objective is return on investment. Okay. So what I'm going to talk to you today about the business you're really in, which is the resource management business. And the 4 resources we're going to talk about today that are critical that you can get a good return on are your time, your money, your energy, and your attention. So time, money, energy, and attention are the 4 resources that you are attempting to guide and direct and allocate so that you can get your best return. And you can either waste, nothing to show for it, spend, you get something now, or you can invest. And investing your resources is the best way for you to grow and scale faster, because what will happen over time is compounding, right? So we know this is true in the financial world, right? If you started investing as a young person and you allow compound interest over time to continue to do its thing, you'll have a ton more money down the road, but that is hard to do because it requires a lot of discipline. My goal is with this video is to help you see yourself differently, help you see your business in a different way as a true entrepreneur so that you can maximize your return on the investments you make of time, energy, money, and attention. Let's talk about time, right? It's the first one. Here's the deal. None of us has any more time than anybody else, at least in the scope of a 24-hour day, right? We all have 24 hours. And how you invest your time matters so much. Now, many of us waste our time. Unfortunately, we waste our time. What's that look like? It looks like doom scrolling on social. It looks like binge watching on Netflix or whatever. It looks like gossiping or talking to your mom or your friends, during your workday. It looks like listening to music in the car when you could be listening to a podcast or a video like this one, right? You just don't get anything in return for it. And so therefore you're wasting it. But today is the only day that will be exactly this day. You will never get this day back again. And every day that you live means you have one less day available to you to live your life. And none of us knows how long we got. We're all fighting a ticking clock, an invisible ticking clock that we can't see. And so the critical understanding here is that our time is very limited, and what we do with our time matters so much that if we want to accelerate, we've got to really think about it: wasting, spending, and investing. So spending time means I get something right now. I'm getting something for this time right now. Feels really good. Great. Investing time means that I'm putting my attention, another resource we're going to talk about, on things that help me multiply time, right? Spend time on things today that help you multiply or create more time tomorrow. That's called investing. Really, I should have said invest time today to help you create more time tomorrow. And that's called leverage. That's called building a brand. That's called building out systems. That's called working with people who can help you go further faster. And so think about your time, the 24 hours you have available. Let's take 8 off the table for rest. That gives you 16 hours available to you each and every day to be productive. You can waste it, nothing to show for it. You can spend it, you get something now, or you can invest it and you get something now and later that continues to compound. Now, there is no such thing as time management, by the way. That's a fallacy. I know that term is used a lot. What there is choice management. And so let's talk about it. Right now, it is 10:33 a.m. East Coast time in the United States of America on January the 9th, 2026. In less than 60 seconds, it will be 10:34 a.m. And in 60 seconds from that, 10:35, and so on. I can't manage that. There's absolutely nothing that I can do to manage that. What I can do is manage my choices of how I invest during the time that I have. Okay. Next is your money. Now, we know that if you waste your money, it goes away. It never comes back. It doesn't bring you any more money back, right? If you spend your money, fine, you might get something right now. But if when you invest your money, that money can compound and bring you more money. I mean, that's the idea of investing. Well, let's think about it in terms of being an entrepreneur. Let's think about it in terms of being a real estate sales agent or a team leader or broker owner. You have a limited, finite amount of money today. Okay. If you didn't, you probably wouldn't be watching this, but you have a limited, finite amount of money today, and you've got to allocate that resource in a meaningful way so that you can get a good return on that money. What does that look like? You could hire a coach. That's a great return on your money. Now you got to do the work. The coach, you got to have accountability and do the work, but that's a great return on your money. You could hire people to help you. You got to hire great people, and they've got to do the job so that you can focus your time and attention on something that's higher leverage. You could invest in marketing, building your brand, things that are going to help you grow and compound and scale over time. Remember, we're going from selling to building to leading. Okay. And a lot of the work that I do with the producers I work with, people who are really, I don't work with a lot of the early stage people, and I do, that's mostly mindset stuff and base level activity. It's really about going from selling to building. Okay. And when you're selling to building, you're thinking a lot more about investment or return on investment of your resources. Third is going to be your energy. Now, you and I both know that if you don't have enough energy, it's almost impossible to be productive. And so, the people who have the energy, right? They're continuously moving forward faster because they just have the energy to make stuff happen, right? And so that's simple. Be well rested, eat healthy, drink water, exercise, you'll have more energy, right? And so consume positive message, put yourself in environments that fuel your energy, right? That's how you can build more energy so that you can be more productive. Now, you can waste your energy, you can spend it, or you can invest it. That's what I'm going to encourage you to do. And then finally is your attention. This is a big one. See, not everything is of equal value. What do we do when we waste our attention or we waste our focus? We're putting it on things that don't move us forward, right? You could binge TikTok. You could binge Netflix. You could scroll Instagram. You could get into negative conversations. You're putting your attention on something that does not move you forward. Versus, let me take my focus, let me take my attention, let me be very consistent, let me be structured and disciplined about how I put my attention on something, because the more I put my attention on something, it grows. When I take my attention away from it, it goes away. So I know you understand what I'm talking about. My interest here, this is not a revolutionary idea, but it is a way for me to organize your thinking so that you can better allocate the limited resources of an entrepreneur, time, money, energy, and attention, so that you can invest for greater return on each one of those limited resources, and watch what happens as you grow your business, as you scale your business, as you grow from selling to building, and then ultimately to leading, if that's something you want to do, kind of grow more than just your ability to sell as an individual agent. If you want to start putting a team around you, or if you want to, lead other people or lead your customers or lead your community, you're going to need to develop those skills. And I assure you, resource management is one of them. Okay, I hope you found this video to be helpful. What I want you to think about is, am I investing my resources today? Everything you do, before you do it or as you plan it, before you go forward, ask yourself, am I investing so that I can get a good return on this effort, return on this resource, so that my business can grow and compound steadily over time? And that is how you win the game. You got this.